Hey, happy Yonze, as OG Ghost would say, because I'm a fan. You can call me whatever you choose to call me at the end of this channel. I don't know if I want to give my name out yet. But if I don't make this message now, I never will. And the ancestors are literally on my ass to get this out. So the topic of this message is how I started doing magic and how I started fucking with demons. Yeah, that's kind of, nerve-wracking to confess to people, which is why I don't want to give my name. But let me tell you more about who I am. I'm 37, soon to be 38. Nothing to lie about there. I am a woman of color. I come from the East Coast, but I've lived, in different states and places like that. And I consider myself well-educated and chill. I've just been through so much that I really don't have anything to really lie about anymore. And when pressed against the wall and pushed beyond my limits, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I need to do to make sure that I am safe and protected. Harming none along the way so long as they are not provoking me or trying to harm me first. With that being said, again, how I started doing magic and fucking with demons. I was living in Texas, just keeping it real, and I lost a job. And I prayed, I tithed, I had faith, I put in job application after application, I gave away services because I had a business at the time, I'm sorry. I'm nervous, so I'm speaking all wrong. And essentially, one day, I realized I was either going to have to sell my booty, pop that O-ring, or I was going to have to, I joked at the time, sell my soul to the devil. I was raised in a very Christian household, almost to the point where I had nightmares about going to hell without really understanding the context why. Like, just the idea of being a bad Christian that fucked up gave me bad anxiety, and I would just be up. And there's that. So I never just jumped into it thinking, oh, this will be cool. But I happened upon a book while I was looking for jobs called The Inner Temple of Witchcraft or something like that by Chris Pentak. And it basically made magic and the occult and everything seem really scientific. And being somebody that is forced to be academically above par, that's pretty much, I had to be the golden child of my family. I just resonated with it. And the more I resonated with it, the more I understood that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So essentially, it led me to a metaphysical store and a conversation with a friend in whom I confided my fears. And she essentially said, listen, this is about you taking care of your energy. This is about you taking care of yourself. And, I always spoke to God at the time, so I definitely prayed over it and said, God, I'm really about to do this. I'm really about to buy a money spell because I need a job. So can you, help me out? If you really do not want me to do this, can you please, make it exceedingly clear that this is not what you want me to do? And wouldn't you know that it actually became the best thing in my life because he did not interfere. In fact, I'm going to go out and say it, and I'm going to sound crazy to a lot of people, which is where, again, because I was like, damn, I don't want to talk about this. Yeah, it was like he kind of blessed me with the ability to do it. And it kind of reminds me of a saint, Saint Cyprian. I just learned of him. He was a sorcerer, and I guess he was really into some dark stuff. And the woman he liked, I think her name was Justina, something like that. She was so into Christ that all she had to do was throw up a cross with her 2 fingers, and that was enough power for her to stop whatever demonic attack he had against her, or evil attack he had against her, because all demons are not evil. And that's pretty much my argument too, and I stand on that. Again, the reasons why I don't really just come out and say, alas, and fought with this. But he was so moved by her faith that he became a worker for Christ. And I think he also died standing on his working for Christ. And one of the things I learned that he does is he reaches out to and works with those who are Christian, who do believe in God, who do accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, and whomever believes is whatever part of that pantheon you choose to exist in. And he uses his past knowledge of dark workings to help people identify spiritual attacks and warfare on their lives, as well as help them release that. And for those who are given the gift of the knowledge and discernment, he also teaches you, how to perform your own works as needed, because magic mainly isn't for show and tell and bullshit with people. It's really about healing and filling your energy back up and protecting yourself and self-empowerment. You really, when you're busting your ass to try to make yourself fit the world's standards, and no matter what you do, you're not enough. When you're trying to love something, somebody, or yourself even, and it just feels like you're hitting walls, magic creates a pathway based on your available reality to give you the opportunity for a better frequency, a better energy field that attracts you a better outcome. And the best part of it is working with a spirit, be it an angel or demon, is optional. Hell, even working with the Lord himself, the Most High, that's still optional. He gave you the gift. But you have to seek God, or you seek your highest self, or seek whatever you believe in. Because you could believe in nothing at all, but you've got to seek something. You've got to have a desire or purpose for something in order for any form of magic to work, because on the surface level, it creates quick fixes. But on the deeper level, for those who really, take it for what it is, you'll create a brand new life for yourself, and you'll become a bigger, better, stronger person. You don't necessarily have to fake who you are. You don't have to deal with the circumstances that you're dealing with. It can get crazy, and when you start doing magic, it's going to get crazy. But once you learn to embrace the crazy, and I mean, we've had about 3 years of this, so I'm sure you've been able to embrace some type of crazy. You'll be able to kind of, realize it's just another day. So, yeah, I feel like I prayed to God, and I begged for him to tell me if he didn't want me to do this because of my Christian background at the time. And again, I ended up getting blessed with it to the point where I started to really understand new things and really have a different appreciation for all that the Lord has created. With that being said, as I said, I also fuck with demons. So let's talk about that, because I promised to talk about that, and I don't want to go on too long. I'm sure this is long enough for some of you. Whew. So my grandmother was a pastor, and she died. And right around the time she died, there was a full moon. And this guy that I thought I was in love with at the time, and a best friend, we all had a business idea. And just say our shadow selves didn't work together well. And we weren't working with ourselves, as people well. And certain things just were not meant to be. So I'll leave it at that. But that happened within days of each other, and I had some extreme, grief over the situation. At the time, I knew what I really wanted to manifest, and I understood on a soul level that all of that fell apart because it wasn't meant to be with said individuals involved. But I really gave every dollar and every effort I had behind it, and the magic that I had been doing at the time, these people had known about. So of course they were absorbing it and turning a blind eye when I suddenly started to attract their issues. We'll leave it at that, because that's another conversation for another day. And that'll be about how you attract issues, not necessarily the tea, because I'm over that part of my life, unless it's relevant. So back to this breakup that happened. It happened within days of my grandmother's death. Everything had been a long time coming, but I was trying to work my behind into a corner, because in my head, if I could just get the business to work, everything would work. Everything. And nobody would have to go anywhere. And that loss kicked my behind like a mofo. I spent an untold amount of time smoking, walking, and tuning out of life. I was dissociated, but I was also doing a lot of magic, so that I was getting stuff done because I was doing magic. And at the time, I remember within weeks of the breakup and my grandmother, I screamed in my father's basement the night of her funeral. surrounded by religious books, mind you. I screamed and I said, God, I am ready to die. I can't take this. This sucks. Every time somebody's bumping past me, I feel like another pound of their grief get onto my body. It's driving me crazy. I don't even want to be here no more. Like, what's the point? This is stupid. Like, what's the point? Can you please just kill me? Just take me. Matter of fact, I won't do anything to myself, Lord. I promise I will not. But I know how to align with the frequency of living in the end. And if the end is what I want, I know how to sit here and think about it. And that was a strong position for me to take, because I basically told the Most High I was ready to go, and I was just tired. There's more to like what happened. I'm just trying to stick to the bare minimum of where the demons came in. I hated my job. I had quit the job. I hated my life. I wanted to quit life. I hated everything around me, and most of all, as hard as I was working to do things, there was a part of me that was still angry with myself for a lot of things that I'd allowed to happen in the past out of a place of loving people and not realizing that, it wasn't love for them, and that it wouldn't be reciprocated in the same way. And I mean like a lifetime of stuff, like childhood based. So like, I'm going to go beyond the people who did things and go ahead and just say, listen, I'll just fix your inner child first. So again, back to the whole demons part. When I said that message and I screamed and I let that go, something told me to Google love potion number 9 one day. And I did. And I attracted some spell work, literally named love potion number 9. So you can read between the lines, and it is what it is. But that's what attracted me to the dark side. I also needed to get out of debt. So I got something for that as well. And honey, I tell you, within a week and a half, even though we were not meant to ever be together again, I somewhat reconciled with the person I broke up with. It happened. And on top of that, I reapplied to the job that I hated, thinking that maybe I just needed a change of heart. And I got a promotion. And I had my job again. And it was very peaceful. It just fell into my lap, but it was aligned with who I was at the time. And as I would outgrow the people, places, and things, as I would deepen my practice and learn about who I was, I would have to work through the process of grieving again, but on a more strategic and respectful scale, so that, I'm not disrupting the balance in the process while, extracting exactly everything that I want out of this universe. Because I've learned that this is what we're here for. We're here to get exactly what we want, the way we want it. The only rules that we really have to focus on: don't hurt anybody. Like, don't jump out of your way to be a sadist and go after somebody who's not even doing anything to you. If they're not really hurting you, mind your business. We're not here to control people. We're not here to force people to bend to our will, even though there are ways to do that. It never lasts, and it's exhausting if you're really about being at peace with yourself and really about living that life. Hell, I do believe in hexing. I do. But it has to be for something that really makes sense, because as it's been said, hexing is healing. And if you need more references on that, look them up. I'd like to drop names, but I'm not really comfortable with doing that right now. But there's a lot of wonderful people on YouTube who speak about this. So yeah, I'm going to wrap that up. I think I've spoken enough, because I think we're reaching the 15-minute mark. And if you're listening to this at work on your 15-minute break, thank you, because I've been there. And that's part of how I got out of my situation. But yeah, that's how I started doing magic, and that's how I started fucking with demons. Have a good one.